Hello, dear friends of Black Nights Film Festival. My name is Päike Triinu Tamm, and I am very happy to welcome you all here in PÖFF TV. We are right in the heart of Black Nights Film Festival 2024 to get to know our directors better. So today I have here in the studio with me a brilliant filmmaker who is Palestinian-British award-winning filmmaker, Farah Nabulsi, who is going to talk about her film, The Teacher. So let's give her a warm welcome. Hello.
Hi, nice to be here.
How are you doing today?
Good, great. It's very nice to be here in Tallinn.
Okay, how many days have you already been?
Only one so far.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Okay. And how many days you have altogether?
It'll be 3.
Okay, so you have time to explore around.
Yeah.
So, but we are going to talk about your film, The Teacher. Maybe at first you could tell us in your own words, quickly summarizing, what is the story about?
It's about a Palestinian school teacher who's struggling to sort of reconcile his commitment to political resistance with his emotional support and guidance for one of his students, as well as the potential for a romantic relationship with a British volunteer worker. But what it's really about, at least for me, is about parental love, the love of a parent, about the pursuit of justice, and also about the inevitability of resistance when no other path to freedom, justice, dignity remains.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, as you are also half Palestinian, you definitely have personal connection to the topic or to the situation there, but you are showing in the movie one specific situation or specific event. Why did you choose this? Why did you want to highlight this specific event? Do you have with that some kind of personal, I don't know, emotions coming up, or why this this event?
Well, actually, by heritage, by blood, I'm 100% Arab Palestinian.
Okay.
But born, raised, educated in the UK and British in that sense. And so I've traveled to Palestine, to what is militarily occupied and colonized Palestine for a number of years now. And I've witnessed with my own eyes the injustice, the discrimination, the painful reality, brutal reality that's taking place there. And during those travels, I've met with so many Palestinians who've experienced firsthand some of the absurd, cruel things that take place in the story that I also wrote, like children being processed through military detention, like home demolitions, like illegal settler violence and vandalism. So I've even witnessed some of this with my own eyes. So I'm very connected in that sense, like you said, by identity, but also by just my personal experience and human connection. But there's also a story that I came across during my travels about an Israeli occupation soldier called Gilad Shalit. And he was captured in 2006. And in 2011, he was released for over 1,000 Palestinian political prisoners, hundreds of whom were women and children, hundreds of whom were being held in administrative detention, which means without trial or charge. And at the time, when I kind of discovered this story, I thought this was a crazy imbalance in value for human life. And that really sort of stayed with me and is a major sort of inspiration of what I wanted to explore with this story. But I could never have imagined that this film would arrive at a time when, Israel's conducting a genocide in Gaza, where the imbalance in value for human life is beyond even, it's magnified far more than 1,000 to 1 when you have hundreds of thousands killed and maimed and homeless and, so it's a very, very personal story, but like you said, very focused on this particular teacher, but all connected to my own personal kind of feelings and empathy for a reality that is real and is taking place in real time.
But as all the, emotions and the relations you have with the story and the topic are coming like from all of your life. How long was the filmmaking process when you first thought about the idea versus now when it's ready? How long was the period for you?
So, I mean, the film had its release a year ago at Toronto International Film Festival. So up until that point, let's say, it was a 4-year journey. From just the idea, and I remember actually visiting our lead actor Saleh Bakri and just verbalizing the story to him without having even written a first draft and talking him through it. I'd say that was 4 years from a year ago, so I guess now 5 years since. But we were on the ground shooting in the West Bank in Palestine for about 3 months, shooting and the prep period just before 3 months.
Okay, but as filmmaking is a long process and you have definitely a very, in a way, hurting and deep topic, what was the biggest challenge with the teacher? I don't know, director's point of view or after all?
It's interesting because I think independent cinema is just really difficult. Regardless of where you are in the world, and it's a tough task, right? Financially, locations, the headaches that come with just independent filmmaking, the time constraints and all of that. So all of that existed. That was tough. So as a filmmaker, yes, we suffered. But for me, the biggest challenges was I didn't choose the path of least resistance. We ended up shooting in Palestine, which, as I mentioned, it's militarily occupied, and there's illegal settlers and there's checkpoints and there's various control systems, and you're creating a story that's taking place in real time about an injustice that is happening around you in real time. And so for me, it was more the emotional, mental challenges of trying to do justice to that injustice in your actual film. And an example I give of when I say these things are happening around you is in the film, there's an actual scene where illegal Israeli settlers descend on the village of Bereen and they start torching, burning the olive trees. Now, that is something I have witnessed personally when I've been visiting Palestine. But that actually took place while we were shooting as well. So we got word while we're filming that actually right now there are settlers who are burning the trees in the village of Bereen, by the way, which the teacher is from. We weren't shooting in the village of Bereen. We were shooting nearby. We could see the smoke. So it's like a very dystopian, strange reality. And that pressure as a filmmaker to do justice to that, as well as stay positive, finish the film, keep everyone safe. I'm also a producer on the film as well. Really wanting to kind of see it to the finish line. But that pressure and that feeling of this isn't a period drama, this didn't happen in history. It did happen in history, but it's still happening today. I think that was the hardest thing for me, to be honest.
Okay, but when talking about more the storyline or the story you have in the movie, talking about the shooting period, were there any particularly, I don't know, challenging scenes to capture? I don't know, either emotionally or technically, and how did you manage to do that?
Yeah, I think if you've seen the film, there are so many scenes that were tough, and some were, yes, based on the story, the emotion, the characters, and and then some were more practical and difficult. I'd say one of the ones that had us so technically difficult, at the same time bringing all the different departments together to carry it out, but also challenging because of where we were, is the military raid scene. There's a scene where we had a military vehicle, although in the film it appears like there's 8, 9, 10 military vehicles. And we had to shoot it. I remember being on the rooftop far away, and I really wanted a wide shot of the landscape and this vehicle, approaching, and walkie-talkies, and we had to engage the entire village because, again, you've got to remember that you're in a zone where some of the local Palestinians might think this is a real Israeli military vehicle. So you're engaging the villagers to tell the other people in the vehicles, you're stopping the traffic and all of this. This is a film. this isn't real, and that kind of thing. So we're all very nervous. At the same time, if the Israeli actual military see this vehicle, we could also have problems with that. So it was a very heightened tension. And making that vehicle going up and down and up and down and up and down to then create it in VFX, in post-production. And so it was technical. So this didn't involve my actors, as it were. It was more of a very difficult thing to create, where you watch in the film and you say, oh, there's 10 vehicles approaching the village, and, you know, so, and with the sound engineering afterwards and the helicopter approaching. So this was a very tricky one. Whereas, of course, all the scenes between the teacher and his student, Adam, these were very emotionally charged scenes. And you have an actor like Saleh Bakri, who's a very seasoned, brilliant actor. You have a newcomer, Mohammed Abdurrahman, who acts Adam, who's raw and passionate and very talented. But, you know, and they have to be able to sort of play opposite each other in a way that's believable, that's passionate, that's powerful. And it was difficult, but in a very constructive way. And I think that the scenes that play out, you know, ended up great. And dealing with these two different actors in two very different ways sometimes, because of their different levels of experience and approach, you know, to their work. And them also learning from each other, or I'd say Adam, Muhammad from Saleh, you know, that generosity between actors. So, yeah.
Okay, as you already started to talk about actors, your main character was played by Saleh Bakri, and excellent job by him also, definitely all the others too. But how did you or they manage to deliver such emotionally charged characters? What was the work like, or even the process of finding the actors for your film?
So I mentioned earlier I had talked the teacher story before I even wrote the first draft for Saleh Bakri, because he's actually the lead in my previous film. It's a short film, The Present, which was nominated for an Oscar, and it's a film we've worked on together. So he, in many ways, has had a successful film with me prior, as it were, and so he was on board when I told him the story, and then I said to him, "You're going to be the teacher?" And he's like, "Yes, okay." And I was like, "Done." So I knew when I wrote the screenplay that this is the actor that is going
you are
to,
writing for him.
Yeah, in many ways, yeah. And I also think the character of Bassem al-Saleh and Saleh Bakri, they have a connection. Saleh is a Palestinian, and like I said, this is not a historic injustice or a story that's just from the past. It's in many ways his lived experience as a Palestinian, whether he's experienced it or his brothers and sisters have experienced it, you know, in reality. So he feels very strongly with the Palestinian struggle for liberation, for justice, for freedom, for dignity. So he can connect with this character very much already. And like I mentioned, he's a seasoned actor. He's been in some fantastic films. He's brilliant. You learn how to work with an actor, obviously, more and more the more you work with them. So it's my second film with him. And so you kind of understand, okay, the prep period is more important, the rehearsal period, lots of discussions about the character, about each scene, going through each scene, these kind of things prior to the actual shoot is something very important to do with someone like Saleh. And then once you're on set, you've already covered so much about, you know, intention, about, you know, what you both think and feel about this line or this moment, or, you know. And then at some point as a director, you have to kind of surrender your roles to your actors and trust them, and they trust you to watch and to, you know, find the most authentic, truthful, honest performance and take, of course, in the edit, you know, afterwards. You need to be able to select in that way as well. And so we've built that with time. And of course, an actor needs a certain set environment to really give their best performance. You can't always provide it, but you try as well. So you get to know that actor. Whereas, you know, someone like Mohammed Abdurrahman, he's a new actor. He's talented, absolutely. But, you know, he's not been on sets as much. He's, you know, so there's a little bit more guidance in that. Sometimes you have to sort of, on set, even take a break and be like, okay, we need a moment to breathe. Let's go over some lines. Let's, you know, whatever it is. So I think as a director, you kind of need to be like the chameleon. You need to be able to adjust for the different actors, for their different levels of experience, for their different requirements, what they need from you as a director, what they don't need from you as a director. You have to kind of realize that actors are not a monolith. They're not all the same. And you need to be a little bit more ready to, you know, you think the actors are the ones who, but as a director, I've found that I have to be a bit more malleable, and so that's how I'm trying to work. I'm trying to grow as a director.
And I mean, it works. But just to tie it all up or bring it back together, can you, if you can, just in one sentence, summarize what is the main message of your film? Is it just simply, I don't know, to raise awareness, or what would be your main message?
You know, for me, the intention of the film was really just take audiences on this emotional journey into the lives and experiences of these characters, and hope I leave them really contemplating the real life conditions and circumstances that drive people to make the choices they make and take the actions they take. But I do have to say that given the ongoing genocide in Gaza, I really hope that this film offers a deeper, more human context that is really often missing from the conversation, the discourse on Palestine. And I'd really like audiences now to ask themselves, is this a reality you would accept for yourself? And if it isn't, why have Palestinians been expected to? And that for me is the deeper, I would say you call it a message, but the deeper resonance that I hope this film provides at this moment in time.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts and these bittersweet emotions with us. Thank you for coming in today. You have 2 screenings left on our festival, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I hope everything went well for you. So thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
And you, dear viewers, thank you for watching us here in PÖFF TV, and we will see you exactly next time. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you.